I talked in my last video about universal background checks. Those are different than what is currently federally mandated. Now, some states do have universal background checks. The background checks that are federally mandated only apply when you go to a licensed firearm retailer. Right? You can still go to gun controls. You can still privately buy guns. It's not federally required for you to have a background check. This is what I mean when I say universal. It also applies to those things. Now, this is an oversimplification. Universal background checks by themselves do not have a statistically significant decrease in gun violence. The thing that makes it statistically significant is when you include universal background checks as part of what we call a permit to purchase system. This means you, as a buyer, are federally required to fill out an application to buy a gun. You may have to wait a little bit. You may have to take a class like driver's ed, but for guns, before your application is accepted. And yes, this includes a federally mandated background check. Another meaningful piece of policy we can pass is an assault weapons ban. We had one that ended in 2004, and after 2004, over the next decade, there was a 340% increase in mass shootings where 6 or more people died. So yeah, I do think assault weapons have something to do with that. Here's the thing. I don't even want to take away your guns. I think that you should have a gun to be able to protect yourself from oppressive, tyrannical forces. I think you should have a gun for self-defense, but I think that we need to take very careful steps to make sure that you getting a gun are going to be responsible with that gun. You getting a gun does not mean it's going to lead to you shooting up a school or shooting your neighbor or shooting your family or friends. That's all I want. And now we have an actual oppressive, fascist, tyrannical government that is moving the National Guard into our cities. And the 2A bros are saying, oh, good for them. I even got told in one of my comments, I can't wait until Trump takes your guns away. So clearly, you don't give a shit about taking people's guns away. Another comment I kept getting was that you think school shooters, mass shooters, people who go take a gun and kill a bunch of people are going to care about laws? You think that laws are going to stop those people? Multiple studies have shown that 75 to 80% of mass shooters used legally obtained firearms. Some of them by going in and legally purchasing it, but a bunch of them also from taking the firearm that was legally purchased from someone who had it, like a family member. So yeah, I do think if we had better gun control laws, that this would stop those guns from getting in those people's hands. Whether that's making it more difficult for bad people to legally purchase guns, or safe storage and child access requirements that you would be taught in an educational course that you have to take before you get a gun, like driver's ed, but for gun safety.